So far this morning, pretty eventful hunt. It's 40 degrees and perfect conditions. I mean, the rut is in full swing. I almost didn't get up and go this morning because I worked late last night. I got off at 1:30 and I got up at 5:30. But I'm glad I did. I've seen, I think, 9 different deer. Saw a buck early, and then 2 does come barreling off the hill to my right, like I thought they would, off that main trail. And I knew they were being chased, so I let them go at 40. And it was a darn spike chasing them, so I let him go too. And then about 20 minutes later, I looked down the creek bottom, and there was a pack of deer coming to me. And a big old giant heifer ran right up in my lap, and she saw me. And she turned and just kind of went the other way, didn't really spook real hard. And she had 2 fawns with her, and they left. And I saw more deer coming up the bottom behind them, and one of them was a buck. And at about 150 yards, I could see his horns, but he wasn't very big. And he nudged him around over there for a little while, and then he skirted up the edge of the cutover over there, about 100 yards from me. So nothing huge yet, but it's still pretty early. I think it's only 8:45. I got some pictures of some big deer in here around 10 o'clock, so I'm going to hang tight and see what happens. It's beautiful this morning. 40 degrees, wind's in my face, blowing straight out of that cutover, so I couldn't have asked for a better morning already. Oh my gosh. That is a giant. I had it on him and squeezed it. Gun went off well. That is an absolute giant 12-point. I really hope I got shot him right through there. And he ran back up that ridge over there. I'm gonna reload and give him a good bit of time. It's only 9:15. Oh my gosh. This shot was 25 yards. I didn't hear him crash though. But let me get reloaded. I don't know. I shoot with these muzzleloaders and it's a 58 caliber, 380, 400 grain lead ball that I cast myself. The gun went off well. Just never know. He did go up that hill pretty good. His tail was tugged, and he was hurting when he went up through there. I think I center punched him through the lungs, hopefully. But we'll see. I'm gonna reload and get settled down and give him some time. So I'm finally coming down off my high. Can kind of get my words about me and my thoughts straight. But funny story about this deer is I had a picture of a buck the other day, a real nice buck, and wanted to find out who shot it because it looked like an arrow had been through his back. And I wanted to give somebody closure or whatever, let them know their deer was still alive. And so I reached out on Facebook, and the guy commented and said, yes, the deer I shot, gave the story, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, we hunt about 1,000 yards apart. And I just happened to catch his deer on camera. Well, he sent me a couple pictures. I sent him a couple pictures, and he sent me 2 really nice bucks. And I was like, I hadn't got pictures of those or whatever, but I showed him some that I had. And this morning I come in here, there's a ridge that runs off into this creek bottom, and there's a good trail. I got some decent bucks on camera. I had one picture of a deer the other day that I couldn't tell what he was, but he was really big. And I brought Maggie in here, and we saw one deer skirt the edge of the clear cut over there. And so I came back in this morning, immediately started seeing deer from about 7:30 till I shot that deer at 9:15 or 10 after 9. The whole morning I've seen deer. I had does running by me, had spikes chasing, little small bucks chasing. Beautiful morning turkeys came behind me. And then all of a sudden I just hear a stick crack, and I look over here on this ridge, which is like off this face of this ridge, there's a big old buck walking down. And I can tell immediately it's one of the deer he sent me a picture of. He crosses this little bottom right here, comes up, and there's some ferns, and it's kind of like over a little rise. Well, I tried to shoot him at 40 yards, but he wouldn't stop. And luckily he didn't, because he angled and went away from me, and then turned and came straight up the ridge to me. And there's a pine tree right over there. He was just to the left of it, about 22 yards, and I bleated at him, and he stopped broadside, or so I thought. He might have been quartering to ever so slightly. And I put it on him on the lower third, because that bullet typically hits high around 30 to 40 yards. And I squeezed it off, and he just wheeled and ran. And as he was running, his tail was tucked, and he was kind of hunched up, moving pretty quick. He jumped the ditch pretty good and went up the face of that ridge right where he'd come from. I never heard him crash or anything. So, I had it on him. I could feel the sear in that trigger as I was squeezing it. And I told my dad earlier, I said, it's going to take 10 seconds to pull that trigger. And I went ahead and just moved it with authority, but I could feel it squeezing. So I was under control, and the sight never moved. The gun went off crisp. And I'm shooting this old Antonio Zoli replica of a 58 caliber cap lock. And I cast my own bullets for it and everything. And I just cast it some the other day and shot a group at 40 yards. It was about 3 inches. And at 75 yards, it spread out a little bit. But that deer was 22 yards. And I feel real confident about it. I'm pretty sure I put it right behind the shoulder. But when I eased over there about 30 minutes after I shot, and there was some dark colored blood, looked like liver, maybe lower in the brisket, but there was also little bits of corn and food matter in it. So I don't know if I angled it back and it come out the guts, if I got him in the liver, lungs, whatever. But that bullet punches a hole and doesn't really expand a whole lot. So I'm giving him at least 2 hours, and then I'm going to ease over there and see if I can't take up the trail. I think he might be dead up on top of the ridge, and if so, I got my biggest deer ever. I think he'll push 130 inches easy. I don't know if he's a mainframe 12 or 10. I don't know if he's got the split brows like the guy sent me, but man, I am beyond pumped right now. I'm pretty sure I got a good bullet in him. And if not, I know I got a dog that can find him. So I'm just going to sit here and soak up the morning. It's beautiful. It ain't, but it's 10 to 10. So it don't get any better than this. It's October 19th, 40-degree morning. It's beautiful, but I'm just going to soak it in and hopefully recover this deer shortly. So the deer ran right back up the trail he came down to begin with. I'm about 40 yards into the track, and he's bleeding really good. So hopefully he's right up here at the top of the hill dead. I just didn't hear him crash. But I'm gonna ease up here and see if I can find him. This old buck has gone a long way. I'm pretty sure he's liver and one long. But if he's not in this creek right here, I'm gonna back out and give him more time. And bring Spud back. I never thought this deer would have gone this far, but he sure has. Blood was excellent at the beginning, but it had some corn in it. I don't bait corn, but somebody around here does, and I think they got it. There goes my deer. I just pumped him. He didn't go far. I'm almost positive that was him. I'm gonna make sure it's not him in this creek, and I'm backing out. I literally just turned the video off, took one more step, and I see a dead deer in the creek. I can't see his head. I don't know what it is, but it's awful ironic that my blood trail led to right here, and there's a deer dead in the creek. Oh my gosh. This deer was down to pin drops. I see a rack sticking up. I see a rack sticking up. There he is. It's the split brow tine buck. Got him, sir. Yes, sir. With the old cap lock muzzleloader sitting on the ground 23 yards. That deer went probably, I would say, 250 yards. Pin drops at the end. Oh, I'm so pumped right now. I guess he just fell off this bank and got in there and couldn't get out. I thought that was him that just got up on the other side, but it wasn't him. He's dead. I gotta bite him. This is my biggest deer ever. Without a doubt, my biggest deer ever. Split brow tines, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, basically a 14 point. Still got some velvet on the end of his horns. This is the deer the guy sent me the picture of. and I squared him up right behind the shoulder, and he went 250 yards. And I don't even know how I'm going to get this deer out of here. It's bad when that's your first thought, but I'm 1.5 miles back in here, and I got him. He's a 200-pounder, and all the way around biggest deer I've ever killed, and I killed him with my old Caplot muzzleloader. I wish Maggie would have been here, but to be honest, it would have been very tough for me to get her turned around and get that deer killed with my little girl. But I started seeing those deer early this morning. I was just wishing she was there just to see them. I didn't care if I got to shoot at them or not, but this sucker came out at 10 after 9, and he come straight to me. I think he was going to that scrape behind me, and he just walked right out at about 22 yards, and I put a really good shot on him. I don't know how he made it this far. I hit him right must have been right below the heart, but he went 250 yards. He stopped 5 or 6 times up there. I got really nervous because my experience with tracking and all that good stuff, I just know that when they stop, it ain't ever really a good thing if they keep going. But he never bedded, and I guess once he got sick up there on top of that hill, it looks like he just kind of barreled straight off this hill because there was some scuff marks coming down, and he come right here and fell over in the creek. But hands down, my biggest deer ever. I am so tickled to have killed this deer. I'm gonna have to share it with the neighbor over here and just let him know that he don't have to chase him anymore, but he's probably gonna think that I did some weird hoodoo stuff to try to get him over here. But to be honest, I put in some time on this little 400 acres and figured out some funnels, and I got lucky this morning. He wasn't even chasing does. There was hot does in the area. There was bucks everywhere. I let another 4-point go after I shot him, and I don't know. I don't even know how I got so lucky just to be in the right spot at the right time at 9:15. And this deer that I just so happened to share a picture with a gentleman the other day, and it's just weird how things work out. I sent him a picture of the deer he had stuck and lost, and we exchanged a few texts, kind of got to know one another, and then all of a sudden we're sharing pictures of big deer, and then this one comes out on me, and I don't know how I'm any more lucky than he is to have killed him. I think I just happened to be where he wanted to bed this morning. So it's a beautiful day in the woods. It doesn't get any better than this. I think it's October 19th. The rut is 100% in full swing. I saw 13 deer this morning, majority does, 3 bucks. I think 2 of them could have been the same buck, but I don't know. It doesn't get any better than this. This will be definitely going on the wall because he's my biggest deer ever. But and to kill him the way that I did with this old muzzleloader is just about tops traditional archery equipment. This thing here it's fun. But I don't know. The work begins now, but I'm so tickled. I didn't think I was going to find him without Spud. I figured I'd have to go back and get him, but I didn't. He tipped over in the creek. But I'm gonna work on getting him out of here. I don't know how much footage I'm going to get getting him out because my battery's about dead, but just incredible morning. So I don't really know where to begin. I'm still soaking this all in. I don't know. It's I do things the hard way, and I, for some reason, don't even have a rifle at my house. Right now, it's all at my parents', and I got off work at 1:30 last night, decided I was going to go hunting, and my muzzleloader was still loaded from when I took Maggie the other day, and I was questioning whether or not it was going to be fine, but temperature change hadn't fluctuated much in the house or outside, so it was pretty stable. Humidity had been low. I said, you know what, I'm going to trust it. I'm going to take it. And I left it loaded. Come in here, put a cap in it, saw 13 this morning, and this probably my biggest deer that I'll ever kill in South Carolina. Came strolling by me at about 40 yards. I tried to stop him. Luckily, I didn't. He gave me a brief pause and then continued on. And I was kind of frustrated at that point because I thought he was going to turn and go up the draw. He did a button hook, came right back to me, and he gave me a 22-yard broadside shot, and I punched him square behind the shoulder, exactly where I wanted to hit. The bullet came out. I mean, you couldn't cross up the lungs in the middle any better. Bullet punched right through both lungs. And that deer went 250 yards total, 275 yards roughly, but he stopped up on that hill up there. And the reason I kept tracking is I've got a lot of experience tracking deer, as most of y'all probably know. But when I got up there was blood that had been dripping, but also I could see up on trees where he had turned his head and blood was coming out of his nose in a string, like in a slinging fashion up on trees. And he wasn't moving at that point because I knew there was blood straight down in a big splatter where he was dripping out of the bullet hole. So I know I had lung involvement, so I knew just to kind of keep working. It's going to be warm today. I didn't want him to spoil. Obviously going to mount this deer. It's my biggest one ever. So I stayed with it. Blood got pretty sparse there for about 100 yards.
but was able to stay with it, and he comes straight off down here in the creek. And if you watch the video, there was a point where I thought he had gotten up across the creek as I heard a deer rip up, but luckily I took 2 more steps and he was belly up in the creek. So I don't think it gets any better than this on an October morning. It's my favorite time of year to be in the woods. I probably wouldn't have killed that deer with a longbow, but to kill it with that old cap lock with my handmade cast bullet, shooting 2 scoops. I don't even know what grain powder load I'm shooting. It's triple FG, like a pistol powder. I'm pushing the bullet about 1,000 feet a second, and it smashed him. It went slam through him, and there was blood sprayed all behind the bushes where the bullet passed through. But I got about 1.5 miles to get out of here. It's going to be a long drag. Hopefully my dad can make it down here for the last little bit, at least be here to enjoy it with me, because I don't, it's nice to, I love to hunt solo. I enjoy it a lot, but it's nice to have people around to talk about it and share the story. And I'm tickled. I think Maggie and Cassandra will be back at the house, and it's going to be a good afternoon. We'll get him cleaned up, hung in the fridge, and I'm definitely going to get him mounted. So thank y'all for watching. It's been a beautiful morning, probably the best morning I've had in the deer woods in 5 years. So I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm going to reach out to the neighbor over here and let him know that he don't have to chase this one anymore. Like I say, he's probably going to think I'm trespassing or doing something silly, but I had no idea this deer existed until he sent me a picture. I do think I have one picture of this deer, but I couldn't even make him out if you asked me to. I just got one side of his horns and it looked like a bunch of tines. So couldn't be more tickled. The plan came together. The deer come straight off the ridge like I'd hoped he would. Walked right in my lap. So I couldn't have teed it up any more perfect. But thank y'all for watching. I'm going to work on getting him out of here and take a few more pictures, and I don't even know what to say. Just super grateful for the opportunity to be able to kill a big deer like this.